Hi, my name is Kiri and welcome to today's yoga class. Today we're going to be doing all of the necessary prep work to help us get into crow pose. Know that it's going to be beginner friendly. Just gather a couple of blocks. It's really going to be necessary and beneficial for the class today. If you don't have blocks, a stack of books would be helpful. And just roll out your mat and we'll begin whenever you're ready. So in today's class, we will actually begin in our child's pose. So know that a child's pose is going to be your safe space. So no matter how hard things get and no matter how difficult the poses are, know that you can always come back here to find your breath and reconnect with your breath again. So as you bring your knees underneath you, have your knees wide and your toes together behind you, rest your forehead down, reach the arms forward, and just take a couple of deep breaths as we start to decompress and get ourselves ready for our session today. So as you start breathing nice and deep, focus on the Ujjayi pranayama, that gentle constriction to the back of the throat to help you lengthen the breath. So find a nice big inhale, filling up your chest, your ribs, your belly, followed by a nice long exhale through the nose as you pull the navel up towards the spine. Take another full breath in, followed by a big exhale out. Really good. One more big breath in. And exhale out. Take your time to gently lift the forehead and then shift the weight forward as you come onto your hands and your knees. So have your hands right underneath the shoulders. Draw the knees closer together so they're right underneath your hips. And we'll start with our gentle cat-cow. So whenever you're ready, take a nice big inhale breath as you drop the belly, lift your tailbone as well as your gaze. You're still drawing the ribs in and up towards your back. And you're going to still stay nice and engaged to the belly. And then as you exhale, push the earth away, dome the top of your back, and then suck your navel in towards the spine as you tuck your chin and tailbone underneath. Good. So go back and forth between these two movements. Inhale for cow. And then exhale for cat. Maintaining that gentle core engagement throughout. Allow the pace of your breath to dictate the pace of the movements. And see if you can take 3 more at your own pace. Good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Gently come back into a nice neutral spine, and then you're going to tuck your toes underneath. Good. We're going to just hover the knees about an inch off the floor, but instead of having your belly down like this and your pelvis tilted up, think about tucking the pelvis forward, drawing the navel up towards the spine, really pushing the earth away, round through the shoulders, and then make sure the knees are just hovering right above the earth. So try to bring them as low as you can without them actually touching. Good. Breathe here for 3. Beautiful. 2 more. Good. Last one. Good. Keep hovering the knees. Take a nice big inhale here. And then as you exhale, bring the left knee forward to touch that left elbow. Good. Send that foot back. Inhale. And then exhale, right knee forward. Tap. Good. Inhale, send it back. 1 more on each side. Exhale, left knee, left tricep or elbow tap. Good. Inhale back. And then exhale, right elbow tap. Good. Gently send the foot back. And then drop down again, wide knees, toes together. Send your hips behind you. Take that child's pose. Great job. Good. So that pose will help us find that gentle lift that's going to be required in our crow pose. And then it also helped work out our wrists a little bit. So let's get into our wrists. So knowing that we're going to be balancing on our hands today, we're going to take care of them. You're going to gently roll yourself up so that you're seated on your knees. Good. And then we'll gently clasp the hands together and just do a couple of figure 8s with our wrist, just to help loosen everything up. Good. Then you're going to take your right hand forward And then take your left fingers and gently pull the fingertips back, opening up into the wrist. So keep that right arm nice and straight as you do it. Good. Flip that right hand over. And then again, same thing, keep the hand nice and taut, and then gently tug back so that you open up through the top of the wrist. We'll take 2 breaths here. Good. And if at any point your ankles start to get really achy from sitting on them, you could always come up onto your knees. Know that that's always an option for you. Good. Gently release and then shake out the wrists, and then we'll come on to the other side. Take your left hand forward, keep the arm nice and straight. Use your right hand to gently pull the fingers back. Really good. Last breath here. Good. And then tuck the fingertips down and then gently pull. Same thing. Wide fingers. And then use your right hand to gently pull towards you, opening up the top of the wrist. Maintaining those long breaths throughout. Good. One more. Good. Gently release. Shake out the arms again. Good. And then we're going to come back to our hands and our knees. Good. So once we're going to get to our hands and our knees, gently draw your knees together so that they're right underneath the hips once more. And then we're just going to start to make some big circles. So shift the weight forward and back, rolling out your knees as well as your wrists. And then allow yourself to roll in the opposite direction. Good. And then we're going to come back into a nice neutral spine. And then we're going to tuck the toes, and we're going to do that one more time. So tuck your pelvis forward, push the earth away like you're in your cat pose through your upper back. And then from there, hover the knees again 1 inch off the floor. Good. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Take another big breath here. And then as you exhale, right knee to right elbow or tricep. Good. Inhale, bring it back. And then exhale, left elbow, left tricep. Good. One more on each side. Inhale back. Exhale, right knee draws forward. Good. And then inhale back. And then exhale, left knee. Good. Step the foot back. Inhale. Send it all the way back. So walk yourself back to plank. Inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, halfway down. Good. Roll over the toes, lift up through the chest and upward facing, or cobra, whichever you choose. And just make sure your shoulders are not like this and you're pushing far away from the ears. Rotate your shoulders back, proud through the chest. And then again, you could either come onto your knees or your toes, and then send the hips all the way up and back into your downward facing dog. So pedal out your feet left and right, grounding the heels one at a time, opening up into the back of the legs. Make sure that your hips are high, you're shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, and you're really pushing down into the front knuckles and the fingertips of your hands to alleviate a little bit of weight from the wrists. Good. On your next inhale, lift your heels up nice and high towards the sky. And then as you exhale, keep the heels high, just bend the knees a lot, almost like you're trying to melt your heart back until your belly touches your thighs. And if they don't, know that that's totally okay. It's just that action. Inhale again, straighten the legs. And then exhale, ground the heels. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, high heels. Exhale, bend knees, heart back. And then inhale again, straight legs. And then exhale, ground the heels. Yeah, one more time, just like that. Inhale, high heels. Exhale, bend knees. Good. Inhale, lengthen again as you reach. And then exhale, ground the heels. Good. On your next inhale, look forward towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, take your time, taking small steps left and right, until your feet come up to meet the hands. And your hamstrings will feel tighter and tighter as your feet meet closer and closer. So if you have to come up onto your fingertips or utilize the blocks, please do so. And then once you arrive, think wide feet hip distance apart, and then just allow your torso to hang. Good. So from here, you can bend the knees again. Allow yourself to grab opposite elbows, taking a ragdoll. Allow yourself to swing and sway just a couple of times. Yeah, and hamstrings are definitely part of the equation. So we're going to slowly lower the hands all the way back down towards the ground. And on your next inhale, keep the knees bent, nice and relaxed. And then on the exhale, slowly straighten the legs. Good. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. Good. One more time. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. Good. Inhale, bend the knees. And then this time on the exhale, slow roll the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. Head and neck are the last things to come up. Once you make it to right side up, just gently roll the shoulders back behind you. And then stand up nice and tall. Think of the long line of energy pulling up from the crown of your head. And on your next inhale, sweep the arms all the way up towards the sky. We'll do a sun salutation here. Exhale, forward fold as you let it go, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, Adho Uttanasana. And then exhale, hands down, step your feet back, and then Chaturanga Dandasana. Nice and slow, elbows are pulling back, chest and shoulders are lifted, and then roll over the toes, push through the hands, lift through the chest, upward facing, Urdhva Mukha. And then exhale, tuck the toes and send your hips all the way up and back into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, or your downward dog. Taking the big inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And then on your inhale, look again forward towards the front of the mat. Exhale, walk, hop, or step for your feet to meet the hands. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, lengthen the spine forward. And then exhale again, forward fold, let it all go to the ground. Inhale, rise up to the top. You can do this with bent knees. Reach the arms up towards the sky. Big reach. And then exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Good. We're going to find a little bit of strength in our chair pose, and we're going to utilize our blocks here if you want to. It's not mandatory, but it's a really good tool here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that block in the narrowest stance and place it right in between your thighs. And you're going to hug that block really close, and you're just going to have your feet land with the knees, toes pointing directly in front of you so that your knees can track in the same direction as your toes. If you do a couple of bends and you notice that it's putting a lot of pressure on the knees, the feet might have to be adjusted so that your knees are always tracking in the same direction. So on your next inhale, we're going to find our Utkatasana, chair pose. So on your next inhale, sit your hips back, tuck your pelvis forward slightly, reach the arms up overhead, find length through your spine as you bend back. In the knees. Take a nice big breath in here. And then as you exhale, we're going to drop our hands down to make contact with our triceps to our knees. Good. You can have your hands, fingertips down, and on your next inhale, lift up onto your toes. And then exhale, ground the heels. Inhale, reach the arms back up, chair pose. And then exhale, stand all the way back up. Tadasana. Good. Inhale again, Utkatasana, chair pose again. Exhale, fingertips down, triceps make contact with knees. Inhale, lift up high onto the heels. And then exhale, ground the heels back down. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, come up to stand. Good. Are you feeling good in your quads yet? I know I am. On your next inhale, number 3, chair pose. Exhale, fingertips down, triceps make contact with knees. Good. Inhale, come up, high heels. Good. Exhale, heels down. Good. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale up to stand. Beautiful. Last one. You got this. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands down, triceps make contact. Inhale, high heels. And then exhale, ground them. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale up to stand. Beautiful. Release the block. Oh, shake out the legs. Wow, I really felt that one today. Good. And we'll come into one sun salutation B. So on your next inhale, sweep the arms all the way up towards the sky. Find chair pose. Good. And then exhale, forward fold. Let it all go. Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, Adho Uttanasana, reaching the crown of your head forward. And then as you exhale, hands down, step your feet back into that high plank. Elbows point straight back as you lower down halfway, chest lifted, shoulder heads lifted. Roll over the toes. Inhale, push, upward facing, forward foot mukha. And then exhale, back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. On your next inhale, right leg lifts high. And then exhale, step the foot forward to meet the hands. Back foot pivots down 45 degrees so that the whole foot is on the floor. Inhale, rise up with your breath. Reach the arms high. Virabhadrasana 1. And then exhale, both hands back down towards the earth. Send that right foot back behind you. Chaturanga Dandasana as you lower down halfway. Roll over the toes, lift up through the chest, upward facing. And then exhale again, send the hips all the way up and back and downward facing. And know that you can always do the chaturangas on your knees if that's what you need. On your next inhale, left leg reaches high. Try to keep the hips square. And then exhale, knee towards your nose and step between the hands. Back foot pivots 45 degrees. Inhale, rise with your breath. Warrior 1. And then again, exhale, hands down towards the earth. Send that left foot back to meet the right. And then chaturanga, last one. You can do this on knees. Here's the example. And then inhale, upward facing. You could always do cobra. Shoulders down, still away from the ears. And then exhale, take it all the way up and back into your downward facing dog. Inhale again as you look forward towards the front of the mat. Exhale, walk, hop, or step. Your feet to meet them. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, lengthen the spine forward, roll the shoulders back. And then exhale again, big forward fold as you release. Inhale back to chair pose, one final time. And then exhale, come all the way up to stand into Tadasana. Beautiful. From here, we're going to find a little bit of strength as we take that right foot, plant it firmly onto the mat, and then take your left foot and gently slide it all the way back behind you. You can use your left hand forward for balance, and then find yourself in a nice big lunge. Good. So once you find yourself in a lunge position through the legs, make sure that left hip point is still facing forward. Good. And then you're going to take your pelvis, and instead of having it tilted back like this, bend that back knee, tilt the pelvis forward, and then slowly start to reach that back heel back. And then once you find that hip position, reach the arms up towards the sky. Yeah, take a nice big inhale here. And then on the exhale, bring both hands to the inside of that leg. So both hands are on the inside of that right foot. And then you're going to slowly start to scoot that back foot back a little bit farther so that you can slowly start to shift the weight forward into the hips. Good. Drop that back knee as you start pushing forward. Good. And then if you feel like you can, take one of the blocks. And this is just kind of a test to see where your range is. You can drop yourself down onto one elbow. If you feel like you can do it on both, on a block, amazing. Great. You can be right there. If you feel like you can go a little bit lower, you can remove the block and bring both elbows to the floor. If you're like, this is really intense, my mobility is not quite there yet, that's absolutely okay. That's what we have the props for. Stack the blocks or your books as high as you need them to be for you to be able to rest like this. So once you find this pose, allow your knee to not pull out to the side, but gently hug in like you're rolling the inner arch of the foot into yourself, into the mat. And then just keep pushing your hips forward while squeezing the left glute. Really good. Maintain those nice long breaths, because your breath is what's going to help you open up. Yeah, let's see if we can take 3 more. Yeah, final 2. Beautiful. 1 more. Take your time to slowly come back up into hands. If you did utilize blocks, you can have your hands on blocks or you can push them aside, whatever you choose. From here, you're going to gently tuck the back toe as you lift the back knee up off the floor. And then take a nice big inhale here. And then exhale, slowly start to shift the weight forward and then lift up onto your right toes. Lift the right heel up. Good. 1 more breath. Beautiful. Inhale here. Exhale, ground that heel. Shift the weight forward. Slide the left foot forward to meet the right. Good. And then you can release the hands and then slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. Good. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So again, find your balance. You can shift your arms forward. Slowly start to slide the right foot back behind you. Good. Plant it until you find the lunge position that best works for your body. And then again, take your hands to your hips. Pay attention to the alignment. Bend that back knee. Tuck your pelvis forward. Make sure that left hip isn't higher than the right. And then from there, gently start to push the heel back without moving the hips. Good. And then take a nice big inhale breath. Maybe reach the arms up for just a moment. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly bring both hands down to the inside of that left leg. Good. Once the hands plant, you're going to gently push that right foot back just a little bit if you feel like you can have more space, and then drop that back knee. And then again, without the expectation that the left and right is going to be the same, because it's likely not. We always have a dominant side. You can come down to your right elbow, and you could always do this on blocks, and see if you can bring both elbows down. Good. You can use 1 or 2 blocks or 6 books or whatever you need. Just make sure the floor is raised up high enough to meet you where you're at. I feel like a lot of the times people just bend to everything else that needs to be done rather than allowing the day to meet us where we're at. So this is the opportunity to do that. And so the same rules apply. Hug that left, the inner arch of the left foot in towards the mat. Keep breathing nice and big to help your body relax into the stretch. Good. Final 2 breaths here. Really good. 1 more. Good. Take your time to slowly come back up into your hands. Again, you can have your hands on the blocks if you'd like. And then tuck your back toes and lift the back knee up off the floor. Good. And then take a moment to shift the weight forward just a little bit. And then pick up that left heel. Take 2 breaths. Good. 1 more. Good. Gently bring that heel back down. And then shift the weight forward. Slide the right foot forward to meet the left. Good. And then again, slowly roll yourself up to stand. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take our malasana. So have your toes pointed out. Feet are hip distance apart or a little bit wider. And then we're going to find our squat stance here. So malasana is our yogi squat. This is a position that we have to be able to kind of get into in order to bring, for us to begin our crow pose. So the narrower our knees, the closer to crow pose we are in the stance, but know that we can start nice and wide. But from here, what you're going to do is we're going to sit up nice and tall, and then bring your triceps to meet your knees. And I want you to really push down into your knees through your triceps. So have your palms flexed back like you are going to be pressing down into the earth, but instead we're doing it up towards the ceiling to start. So really push the fingertips down towards you, and then push down into the elbows, and then lift through your chest. Good. Breathe here. We're going to be here for 3.
Really good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Good. Gently release the arms and then safely find your comfortable seat. Good. From your comfortable seat, we are going to gently allow ourselves to roll ourselves all the way onto our back. Good. To find a little bit of rounding. So bring our knees into your chest. Give yourself a gentle hug. Good. And think about pulling your navel in towards the spine. And we're going to do the same thing here. Take your elbows at a 90-degree bend. Flex the hands so that the fingertips are facing your face. And then think about pointing through your toes and then pushing your knees into your tricep and your tricep into your knees. Your core is going to start to turn on and you're going to breathe nice and big here. Everything's going to feel like it's shaking. Everything between your shoulders and your core and your hips. So breathe here nice and big. Good. As you keep pushing those elbows into, or not elbows, your triceps into your knees. Good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Yeah, gently release. Oh, good. And then you're going to bring your feet up towards the sky, grab the outsides of your feet, and then gently press down, use your hands to press down into your feet so that their knees are really close to the floor onto the outsides towards your armpits. So from here, you can take the happy baby as you rock gently side to side. But this is also a required movement to help us become a little bit more flexible in the hips to be able to get us into crow. Beautiful. Once you found that gentle rock and you enjoyed that a little bit, you're going to take the hand grip and this time bring it over to the back of the thighs. And you're going to bring your forehead up to meet the knees. And you're going to just do rock and roll forward and back and do that 1, 2, 3, and come on up. All right, so we're going to utilize the blocks to help us not face plant today because the first time I attempted this, that's exactly what I did. It was not great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the prop in front of us to support us in our crow pose. So what you're going to do is you're going to find yourself in that Malasana squat. Good. And if you feel like you need a little bit of support, you could always have roll towels or things like that underneath the heels to make this a little bit more accessible. Your block is going to be way ahead of you more than you think because what's going to happen is you're going to plant your hands about 6 inches away from the block. And then there's going to be about maybe anywhere from like 3 to 4 inches between your hands and your toes. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to start to bend the elbows back, just like we do in chaturanga. If you bring them out to the side, there's nothing for our knees to sit on. So keep the elbows pointed straight back. And if you have to rotate your hands open slightly, please do so. And a lot of the control is going to come through the fingertips. So really press down into the fingertips. That's what's going to prevent you from face planting. But that's what the safety of the block is here for. So what you're going to do is you're going to start to shift your weight forward. And you're going to kind of be able to see like where your head is going to land. And if that block placement isn't right where it needs to be, scoot it either farther or closer depending on where you need it to be so that your forehead meets it. And you can gently bring your forehead down onto that. Once you have that, think about lifting your hips nice and high and then maybe bring one foot up to meet your hips and then bring that down. Same thing. Other leg lifts to lift the hips and then bring that down. Shift your weight forward far enough to see if you can find a little bit of core strength, lifting the hips up nice and high, pressing down into the fingertips really hard and lift the heels, and then maybe float the head up off the block. But move nice and slow. Take your time. If you feel like the block is preventing you from being able to lift a little bit higher, bring it down to the lower setting and see if that's going to make it more accessible for you. So same rules apply. Plant the fingers, come up high onto your toes. Toes are about 4 to 5 inches away from your wrists. Come up high onto your toes. Bring your knees up as high into your armpit or your tricep as you can, and then slowly start to shift the weight. And then see if you can lift one foot, and then maybe the other. Maybe that'll give you enough momentum to lift. So my fingertips are working really hard to prevent me from face planting, and then you're trying to push up through your hips to keep you high. Once you arrive, see if you can breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Gently lower yourself down, roll out and shake out those wrists. And then you can try this as many times as you'd like. But once you have, and you feel like you are content with where you're at today, maybe bring the soles of your feet together and then just find a gentle forward fold. Blocks are nice here. You put in a lot of work, allow yourself to take that break. So bring the floor up as high as you need for your forehead to be able to meet them. You can literally stack them, no matter how inflexible you are. Even this is okay. So know that there is no shame or limitation. It's just about allowing the practice to meet you where you are so that you can progress from there. Yeah, slow down your breathing. Know that you put in good work. And hard things require you to show up, to be dedicated, and to stay consistent. Yeah, take one more breath here. And then slowly roll back up to your seat. Beautiful. I hope you did well. And if you didn't, know that that's absolutely okay. No one gets it right on the first time. And trust me, I didn't. I literally face planted the first time I attempted it. So now I know better. um, but utilize the props, go through the practice, and see how much you can grow when you stay consistent and stay dedicated to that. We're going to take one last forward fold. So gently draw your knees together, extend the legs out in front of you. If you want to do this with bent knees to give you a little bit more of a passive stretch, allow yourself to do so. You can always place the blocks underneath the knees. I love doing the forward fold like this. And you could just gently take the elbows, rest your forehead down. If you'd like to do the full extended, know that that is completely okay too. Once you finish up that final breath, gently release your arms, and then gently roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time. Remove the blocks if you did, utilize them underneath the legs. Reach the legs out in front of you. Take your time rolling onto your, slowly lowering yourself down onto your back. And find yourself in your Savasana. As you take this moment to let go, please be kind to yourself. As you check in with the body, acknowledging and notice what it felt like, where you find your strengths and your weaknesses. And just know that with dedication, anything is possible. So even your breath, allow you to release it, let it come back to its natural pace and rhythm. Relax the space between your brows, relax your jaw, untense your shoulders, unclench your hips. Just take a couple of moments to reflect, check in, and just allow yourself to be. Please take another moment if you'd like. But if you are ready, take your time to take a nice big breath in, filling yourself up. Followed by a big open mouth exhale as you let it all go. Gently wiggle through your fingers and your toes. And if one last full body stretch does call to you, allow yourself to reach both arms up overhead, finding length through the entire body. So you reach in opposite directions. Take your time as you slowly bend the knees, allowing yourself to roll over to your favorite side, coming into that comfortable fetal position, allowing one last moment for checking in, and to find gratitude for your body before you slowly push yourself up to your comfortable seat. Once you arrive, take one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. We can do hard things together if we show up, stay dedicated, and we stay consistent. Thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to challenge you and to guide you in your practice today. From my heart to yours. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you at the next one.